Hello and welcome everybody to your show, Think Big and Be Inspired, the People's Show. It's today we passed, of course, as you know, our 65th episode, and more beautiful guests are coming. Today we have a very special guest. She started her career in marketing and branding, then she moved to HR. She worked in big companies and tech big companies, and now she's in a big company for delivery. Of course, it's very well known everywhere, and logistics here in the region. She's inspiring. She inspires me a lot with her posts and her work. And she is also a keynote speaker. She's working in employer branding, and we know a lot about employer branding also to when we speak to her. So let me introduce you to our guest, Yasmin El Sheikh. Yasmin, how are you doing?
Hi, Ahmed. Wow, what an introduction. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's
I'm so
a brief
happy.
introduction, of course. I'm so happy also that you are with us today, and thank you for coming in and joining in. And as I'm saying, that's only a brief introduction. You have a lot of values, and you really help a lot of people here on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much. I try. We all try, no? We're all work in
Yes.
progress, yeah.
Yes, exactly. We all try. It's a beautiful platform for sharing knowledge and helping people, and a lot of great people already are joining us. Ahmed Khalid saying welcome back. Thank you, Ahmed. Shadi Al Jaki, thank you for joining us, and Ahmed Musa, also our friend. He's a supply chain expert. Thank you so much for all for joining us. Yasmin, of course, a great journey as I was introducing you from marketing, and then you suddenly, and digital marketing, you worked in digital marketing at the beginning of your career and social media. And then you moved to HR, suddenly you switched to HR. Tell us briefly about your career and why did you decide to switch suddenly to HR?
Well, sudden is the key word here, because
Yeah.
like for 4 years and a half, I've been marketing. I've always been like a famous. I loved marketing and I loved branding and all. Thanks, Ahmed. Great to see you too. But then I started my career, like my first job. I landed my first job right after graduation in marketing, and I worked for like around 7 to 8 months. And then when it hit me, this is not what I want to do with my life, and this is what I was programmed to do, but this is not what I want to do. Like when I tried it, and that's why I always urge fresh grads to try to work wherever they want to work, because they have a year and a half to explore the options. I quit overnight, and I'm not really I'm not really a fan of what I did, but I literally quit overnight. I decided not to show up because I was not happy and I was not convinced. And I decided to pursue my master's in HR, although I never studied HR and I never thought I would work in HR. But then I decided, I called my dad and I was like, listen, I decided to quit and I'm going to the UK to get my master's in HR.
Wow.
And that was it. Yes, I've always been a people's person. I've always believed in the power of people and the power of a good word. And in my opinion, I think that HR and marketing are quite the same. We just serve different people. As an HR professional, I serve the employees, but as a marketeer, I serve the final customer. But if you think about it, في الأول وفي الآخر, we're doing the same thing.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
and then
agree.
I graduated from my master's, and that was it.
Wow, great, of course, and great that you pursue your passion and you suddenly decided to move to UK. But what's good, it's very brave and bold decision to take it
Lucky.
and go alone to UK
I
and
always,
and all
yeah,
that. Very good, very good.
I always
And
consider myself to be lucky. Sometimes people.
yes,
Sorry to interrupt you.
and you're doing brilliant in HR and. Yeah, I can see that everyone is in LinkedIn. You really add values, and I know that you're progressing well in your career. I can see it.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you.
Ahmed Khaled is saying, yes, very well said, Yasmin. And sometimes we're sidetracked by secondary activities to an extent. We forget to think about our passion. I agree with Ahmed, follow your passion, like we're saying. We have Olga also from Ecuador joining us. Thank you so much, Olga, a great friend of the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Olga. You're from a beautiful country.
Yes, indeed, yes. Yasmin, of course, as an HR professional, now with like I think around 7 to 10 years of experience, is there a big pool of talent in the market? Demand is bigger than supply, or there is not enough jobs? Is there an issue in finding the right talent? What's your take on that?
It would be very unrealistic of me to answer this question without defining what market we're talking about, because me being working in Egypt and having the chance to work in for other markets like the UAE and KSA and even Turkey, South Africa, and all, I was able to have a sense of an insight of the talent pool. Let me take masalan the two major markets, Egypt versus the UAE. If we're talking about Egypt as a market, we're 100 million. Anyone would say that. They would like, oh my God, you will find the talent you need. You will find it's very easy to find the
Yes,
talent you
easy.
need. Contrary. No, it's not. It's totally not, actually. It's the exact opposite, because I'm limited by so many things. For instance, I cannot hire expats in Egypt as it is masalan to hire in the UAE or KSA. It's not as easy to
Yes,
find. Like when we're hiring technical skills, yes, I do agree that we might have very strong technical calibers, but these technical calibers, and it's so unfortunate, they would miss the most important skills, the soft skills, the presentation skills, the confidence to express themselves. But at the end of the day, it leaves you with very good CV, but a very poor caliber.
yeah,
The demand is much higher than the supply in the talent, I would say, generally speaking. Of course, this is a very general oversight in Egypt. But for instance, in the UAE, I would always tell my colleagues, you guys are so lucky. The world is your talent. You can literally
yes,
get any person you want from anywhere in the world without any kind of limitations, except, of course, Saudization or Meritization. This is another story.
I
But at the end
agree.
of the day, there's no source of limit. I would say it depends on the market. But if we're generally talking about Egypt, then yes, unfortunately, the demand is higher than the supply of the certain calibers we're looking for.
That's a great answer, Yasmin. I agree with you. Depends on the market, and yes, you must find look for people, of course, presentation skills and different kind set of skills, and here I think in UAE, yes, there's a lot of expats, of course, and it's more encouraging and easier, I think, for the job for HR here in UAE. And you were here in UAE, I know. Last month or 2 months ago. Unfortunately, we couldn't meet, but hopefully next time it would be great to
Definitely.
meet you in UAE, definitely. So, as we were talking also about HR, is HR like sometimes HR professionals are accused of not connecting with people and employees? And I know you're a people person and all that, but sometimes it's the opposite. They're not connected with people, disconnected, or putting some. Not putting like something encouraging for people, not showing the people the way or the career path, or not engaging people in activities, just maybe paperwork or something like that. And I know in some companies now they call it like chief heart officer. So tell us about that. What is the some companies are not doing the job well, and some companies are like exceeding now and going to chief heart officer.
Well, then again, it all goes back to the generalization rule. Remember, like when I first stepped into HR, everyone was like, HR is so mean and people don't like HR, and
Yeah,
this is like the most hated department in the
the
company,
victim. Yes.
and everyone was like so against inclusion. And I was like, guys, this is the exact opposite of what I believe in. I believe that HR is here to serve you, you as the people, and people serve the business. So at the end of the day, we're all working towards the same thing. But then again,
Yes.
if we look like from a scientific academic point of view, HR first started as a personnel or administration, only cared about the folders and the files and the documents and the keeping the records of the
Archiving.
employees. and archiving, exactly. And then over time we started evolving and becoming, adding the word human
Yeah.
into the equation, and being known as a human resources department. But then sadly we were never given the chance to actually act upon the human factor in our like title. We would only care about recruitment in general. Even recruitment has changed over time, but this is a totally different story. But we cared about the general benefits or the general business alignment, and we disregarded human. And then over time we started moving from human resources to including the word people and culture. And if you would notice, so many startups and so many organizations are changing the title of the department of human resources to people experience or to people and culture department. Why? Because they correlate one another. Culture brings the engagement factor into the people, and people brings the human factor into the equation. I feel like I'm so inspirational, but yani, this
Yes,
is
you
in
are. You
general
are
how
really.
things.
No, no, you are really,
Yeah,
because not
I
a
need.
lot of people know that this is happening and that this is changing. Because really, it's very important. Because if you're working in a toxic culture, you will not be able to do your job. So HR part of HR is through the activities, through involving people, is to create a culture where people like to come to work. It's not like a 9 to 5, and you're not happy that you're finish the weekend and coming back to job. So part of HR also is to encourage people to and to inspire people like you're doing to be happy and doing their job.
But to be honest, sometimes we tend to put so much effort on HR or on people's team, and we forget that there's another person in the equation, which is the hiring manager or the leadership team. Sometimes the HR team would try so hard to engage and to create a positive environment, but then it's usually being resisted or opposed by the leadership team because they're so invested in targets and in business orientation. Our business, they're super business oriented, and they disregard the human part of the equation. Make your people happy, serve them well, so they would serve you back. So it's a balanced equation at the end of the day. Like, HR is always accused of being the bad person, but I think over time we have proven that the importance of HR into the strategy and into the business building. And I think also that it is on the business leaders as well to aspire and to push and to support HR to do their final job.
Exactly, exactly. That's very well said, Yasmin. Sometimes, as you said, due to the pressure or targets, or sometimes they don't give HR the time, or they just yes, it's not it's integration. At the end of the day, HR is very, it's an integral part of and very important part. And as I said also in my work, also maybe in sales and operation planning, I always say people are number one. People are number one for the success of the organization, and that's what HR does, serving people, and people are your clients and the employees. Very well said, Yasmin. And we have Dipan Josh saying awesome. Olga also
Thank
saying
you.
thank you. Hi, Olga, our friend from Ecuador. Shadi, very well explained, Yasmin. I totally agree with you. And we have here a friend from Peru also, Carlos Enrique. Thank you, Carlos, for
Hi.
joining us. Thank you. Osama Zaid, our friend also here, is joining from Cyprus. Actually, thank you, Osama, for joining us. Ahmed Khaled, maybe you have a question here from one of our audience, Ahmed Khaled from Saudi, saying, Yasmin, based on your experience inside the corporation, I knew many people that they got rejected from positions without any notification. The silent response from corporate. What's your view on that attitude? Does it affect the corporate reputation and brand? I think that's a good question.
Okay. Well, the simple answer would be yes, it does affect, and this is not the right attitude, and every single applicant should be given the respect and the attention to be notified with the rejection, and in a perfect world the reason for the
Mm.
rejection. But yet
Yes.
again, I like to be pushed back to my ground and say that most of the time, if not like majority of the time, the talent acquisition team is understaffed compared to the number of
Yeah.
requests that they're serving. And majority of the time, unfortunately, 90% of the applicants who apply are irrelevant, and it just shows
Yeah.
how they haven't read the job description, or they're just super eager to apply that they hope that it would be a chance for them to get their CVs seen. And again, it all results to the talent acquisition team being, I'm not, by the way, I'm not defending the silent
Yeah.
response attitude. It's totally unacceptable. But again, we live in a very busy world, and in a realistic standpoint of view, it shouldn't be done, but it's done because we're most of the time understaffed, we're most of the time under super demand and under high demand. But yeah, unfortunately, many corporates do that, and I believe that there should be some sort of a drastic change to stop this from happening, because over the long run, by the way, karma happens, and you might
Yes.
get in touch with a candidate who you rejected silently, and they would not be interested to join again because of this attitude. So on the
Right.
long run, it might affect your brand reputation and yeah, the
Your
easiness of
personal
getting
brand.
candidates.
Yeah. Yes.
True.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because maybe if you join another corporate or something and you need some talent, so it's all about building trust with people, and sometimes even people are shortlisted and they get ghosted, and of course it's not the right
Unfortunately.
attitude, like you're saying, unfortunately. But yes, you're right. Sometimes, of course, people are like lottery. They are just applying to have their CV on the company or something, and they expect a reply, and this is not right. I think at least the shortlisted should be notified why, like you're saying, why they were rejected, and what happened wrong, so that they use this information in the upcoming interviews. Great answer, Yasmin, of course, and
Great.
thank you so much for that. Ahmed, yeah, I think we got Ahmed here. The answer, satisfied with our answer. So, Yasmin, I got
Yeah.
one of your posts before, and polls that you did. It was very interesting. That should HR know all the in and outs of the job description or the role, and yeah, all the roles in the company, or it's the responsibility of each department manager, and the HR should know the key takes. And I was interested to know the right answer, or is there a right answer to that? Because I wanted to see the results of the poll, and what's
What's
your
your
take on it?
take?
Yeah.
What's your take on it? What do you think?
I think for some like really technical or something like that, I think HR should not know. But I think like for marketing, for sales, for something like that, HR should know, should understand all what departments are doing, should understand the department's hierarchy, and should understand a big part of the job description. This is what I think. What's the right answer?
There is no right answer. The thing is, when I created this poll, it was because I got a phone call from one of my colleagues in another company, and she's a tech recruiter, and she was basically having a nervous breakdown, as in, there's so many abbreviations, there's so many things I
Yeah,
don't understand, and she was just going crazy, and then it hit me. Is she really required to know every single thing in the job description? No,
yeah,
she's not. But then again,
yes,
is she not required to understand the role? Yes, 100% she is. But I would like, Yani, I'd like to take a chance to just explain more. Like, there is a big difference between, like how you said it, the technical roles and the non-technical roles. The non-technical roles, if you're hiring a marketing executive, a sales representative, a customer service agent, at the end of the day, let's be realistic. There are certain keywords, مش keywords, there are certain key skills and certain
yeah,
experience that will easily get you the candidate you would want. But then when we're talking about the technical job descriptions of the technical roles, I think the recruiter should put in some more effort in taking so much time, longer time with the hiring managers to understand the difference between what between the general roles, yani between the difference between a software developer and an engineer, a general engineer, or between a mobile technician and a software developer. Yani to understand the broad ways. But if you were to ask me, is the recruiter responsible to understand the difference between Java and Python? I personally don't know the difference, and I don't think it
yeah,
will add to me or take away from my expertise if I don't know the difference. it's again a middle way. The hiring manager should understand, should explain the job description, should given some time to explain and to have the intake session with the team, with the recruitment team, and the recruitment team should put in some effort, some more effort to understand and to do their own homework. Sometimes, by the way, I would Google job descriptions and I would just try to understand and see the different job descriptions for the same title. You would be surprised.
Yes.
Yeah, but but for instance, the first role I hired, I had to read the job description and read it word by word, and I actually thought that I would have to find the person who does every single thing in the job description.
Everything.
But over the years,
Yes.
it's impossible. You're not hiring for it. So yeah, and
Yes,
the
you're not
results were
hiring.
very close, but
Really? Yeah. So yes,
yeah,
you're not hiring
but
a superhero, as you say. Yeah. Tell me. Yes, I'm with you.
no, I was saying, and the results were very close. Like the majority of people thought that recruiters just should know the general knowledge, but like
Yeah.
48% thought that you should study the job description by heart. But the majority thought that no, it's just the general knowledge. And I'm honestly with the majority. I think like we're here to make your lives easier. We're not here to complicate life for everyone.
Yes.
Doctors are meant to be doctors, and recruiters are meant to be recruiters. So yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think it's the job like of the managers also to interview, and this comes to technical skills, and they will know more. They are working in this job for years. Like for example, for me, in like in supply chain or something, if someone introduced like the supply chain director goes to the supply manager or something, he will be able to ask them the right questions due to experience. Yes, HR will definitely ask in some of the skills and all that, but at the end of the day, also he has to be interviewed with like a head of department or something for some skills that he only understands. I totally agree with you. So we have here Ahmed Khalid, our great friend, also is saying very well said. Thank you, Ahmed. Kim Araman is specialized in interviews, especially, and she's in UAE. She's a great friend, a great coach, interview coach. So thank you so much, Kim, for tuning in.
Thank you, Kim. I hope you enjoyed the today's episode.
Yes, Yasmin. Lately, I've seen a lot of job descriptions that are unrealistic. Working hours, maybe 7 days a week, 24/7. Low salaries, and because there are people taking advantage of that. Some people are losing jobs due to the pandemic, or companies taking advantage of that. What do you think? What's happening currently in the market in 2021?
I'll divide your question to two parts: the unrealistic job descriptions and what's happening in today's market. The unrealistic job descriptions, they've always been here and they'll always be there. And I think it's on the recruiters to push back and to bring back the managers to the reality and to change whatever is unacceptable. And I think one of the reasons why you asked me this question is that I posted on LinkedIn when I was going through job descriptions randomly, and I found a job description that basically
Yes,
says willing to work
so that
24/7,
I'm
300.
following your posts by
Thank
heart on
you.
LinkedIn.
Yes, yes. So, and then I was like, why? Who would ever be available to work 24/7? Assuming that
Yes,
this person has nothing else to do but work, I assume that this person will need some time to go to the bathroom, to shower, to walk around the house, to sleep. Yeah, basic
exactly.
human needs. So it just got me so frustrated, as in what you're looking for is unrealistic, and not only unrealistic, it it kind of gives, what kind of impression are you trying to tell people? What kind of image are you trying to send people, that you're hiring robots? Then
Yeah.
خلاص, let go of your recruitment and get a machine to do the job. You don't need a human. This again, I honestly don't blame the hiring manager. I blame the recruiter who posted this job description. Where were you?
Yes.
Where will you ever find this person? How did you agree on having such a job description? it's again a miscommunication between the hiring team and the hiring manager. They should sit together, discuss the job description, review it, and make sure that it's realistic. Because at some point, how will you ever assess the performance of an employee against the job description and against the KPIs that were set? Will the KPI be working 24/7? And if the person slept 7 hours, they will not perform well? يعني,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
This is one thing. The other thing is, if companies are taking advantage of people being laid off, I cannot really generalize and say yes or no. Again, it depends on the environment and it depends on the roles. But I would say that I was lucky enough that during the pandemic, I was working in an industry that was positively affected, and we actually
Yes.
saw a positive impact. Like, it's so of on HR, as in we were hiring and we were booming and we were growing, and the market was ours because so many people were available to start immediately. So many people were more flexible with our working conditions and our compensation and all. So it was much easier for us. But on the other hand, I would say that definitely and unfortunately, many people would definitely make take advantage of people just desperately looking for a job. But then again, I will come and tell you this is karma, because if you hired a person today and you took advantage of his need to a job, next day another person would come. They will understand the worthiness of his values. They will offer him a good a fair package, and he would leave, and he owes you nothing.
Yes. I totally agree. You're right. Because if you don't offer people the right package, if you don't, like you said, the culture and the environment, provide them the right culture, they will, they why will be, they would be loyal to the company, or the why they would stay. They would, and they would be looking for a job, for example, while they're working with you, and they would leave for the next better opportunity. And it's right, as you said. Totally agree, and so interesting. Thank you for joining us. Of course, I cannot see the name, but thank you so much. And Ahmed Khalid that saying that this would oppose any country's labor law. I think yes, yes, especially in countries that
Yes.
really respect labor law and all that. Yes, I totally agree with you, Ahmed. Yasmin, tell us about your journey on LinkedIn. When did you start, and are you active on other social media? And how did this help you building your own brand and your own personality? And did it help you in finding jobs? Did it help? Tell us more about. I know some things about, of course, your great posts on LinkedIn, but give us more insights. When did you start and all that?
When did I start? I don't remember a date actually, but I do remember that once I included the word HR in my headlines and in my title, things started shifting.
Yeah,
My connection increased, my followers base increased, and all. But when did I decide to actually invest time and effort in on LinkedIn and work on my personal brand? That was 4 years ago, and I decided to relook my connections to understand the network, to start working understanding the algorithms of LinkedIn and all. Did it
great.
Is it worth it? Is it nice? Well, it got me to have an episode with you today, for example. That's one thing. Another thing, I got my job, my current job, which I love, and I'm so lucky to have
Great.
through LinkedIn. And
Wow,
my
that's great.
previous job was not through LinkedIn, it was through Facebook, but again through another
Yeah,
social media platform. So I think LinkedIn is a gem, and if you know how to use it, it will place you to another phase in life. I mean, but
yes.
then again, so many people are misusing LinkedIn, and I feel like we're working so hard now to try to keep it on the right track, as in it's a corporate social media platform and it's not another sort of Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
I think it was so worthy, and I'm looking forward to the next stages. Like, I have so many plans for LinkedIn, my LinkedIn, hopefully.
Great. We're waiting for new things and new posts and new kind of videos, I believe, and engagement, great engagement posts from your end as usual. Good, good. And are you active in any other social media, like using it for work, or mostly LinkedIn?
Mostly LinkedIn. I try to keep all my effort and focus on LinkedIn. If I'm hiring for certain mass hiring roles, then I could go for Facebook. But
Yeah.
LinkedIn is like, I check LinkedIn more than Facebook and Instagram, and my friends go like, "You're a nerd." But then LinkedIn is my own Instagram and Facebook. So
Yes, I agree with you. And I shifted maybe before I was more on Facebook, but I shifted because here I see people coming for purpose, for knowledge, encouraging each other, helping each other. It's really it's a great platform, as you're saying. It's a gem. Right, right. That's totally right. Yasmin, I got in my mind now a question I wanted to ask you. When you hire, or when you get a candidate, do you receive candidates more through referrals, or through checking LinkedIn, or through any other channel, through recruiters? Yeah, what do you more give more weight in hiring, or you have to interview deeply the candidate, and check his talent, and if he's uh, fit to the job, or if you take a referral, you will give it more weight? Or tell me about that. You trust more referrals,
um,
or you just?
again, it's not
Yeah.
about trust. It's a matter of, let's be realistic and let's be honest. Referrals are and should be number one tool
Yeah.
for recruiters to hire. And by the way, it doesn't make us less of successful recruiters. It's just one friend refers another friend who refers another friend. It's a network, and this is how you build a coherent and an inclusive culture where everyone, like, I would know that you will be happy. I will refer your CV and you will go through the interviewing process. If you were good enough and you will pass, then you're good and you
Yes.
deserve the job. If not, there's so many other candidates other than you. It's
Yes.
not about, back again to your question, it's not about trusting or giving more weight, but it's a matter of, um, this person referred this candidate for a reason. They either see them fit for the job or they see them fit for the culture of the company. Both
Yeah.
reasons are good enough for me to consider this candidate, given that the experience of the candidate matches the role, of course. It's good enough for me to give them a chance for interviews. But I would say that for me, or for in my opinion, LinkedIn and referrals go both ways, because
Yeah.
especially if you have a good network on LinkedIn, because like this is one thing how LinkedIn helped with my job. When I post a role that I'm hiring for a certain role, the amount of referrals I receive, especially from trust and credible people I know on LinkedIn, is huge. So this is
Wow.
again through LinkedIn or through referrals. At the end of the day, I'm looking for the right candidate for the job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You'll not just take blindly the referral, but it's good, of course. It's part of networking. You have a strong network on LinkedIn, and you have people that make your life easier when you're looking for a candidate.
Yes, yes, much easier, actually.
Great, great, Yasmin. Yasmin, if you have a word for now for job seekers, and what's happening and the pandemic, and a lot of people, as you know, lost their job, and what's your word and advice to people, job seekers, through your long years of experience, either through LinkedIn or working on HR?
My first advice on top of my mind: be
Yeah,
real self and be real to people. Do not
yeah,
overwrite your CV. Do
yeah.
not think that your CV would some sort of magically get you a spot or get you a job in the company. This is
Yes,
not right.
yes,
We do not, the CV might help you get the interview, but it will not be the reason to get you to get you the job. You are the reason to get this job. If you overwrite your CV or you overwrite the skills you've got, believe me, it takes me personally less than a minute to know if this person is all about just a couple of words written on a document. So my first
yeah,
advice: be real. Instead of investing so much time overwriting a CV, invest that much time in getting the skills needed, or investing in a certain course you like, in certain soft skills. communication skills, public speaking skills, how invest some time at least in a course, on a Google course, how to ace an interview. That would be more than
Yeah.
enough for you.
Yes.
So this is my first advice. My second advice would be digital blueprint forever. Where are you on LinkedIn? How does your profile look like? It is so frustrating that we're still in 2021 after a world pandemic, and after that
Yes.
our lives have changed overnight, and I still send messages to candidates and they reply 6 months later. Six
Oh
months.
my God.
Why?
Oh my
Why
God.
do you bother? Yani, why do you even bother to reply? خلاص, the job is done and I found another
Yes.
candidate. But imagine the number of lost chances and lost good candidates
Opportunities. Yes.
and opportunities just because you don't check your LinkedIn profile religiously. If you're a job seeker, then LinkedIn is your way. And my third advice, do not just apply, be selective. Guys,
Yes.
it's not a matter of, because I get messages, I have applied to more than 1,000 roles in your company.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not impressing me. This is not right. You shouldn't apply to 1,000 roles in my company. You should apply to one or two. And by the
Yes.
way, I'll just give you one small insight. Um, on some of the applicant tracking systems, you get to see
Yeah.
the history of the applicants who applied to which role. Usually, when a recruiter finds that this applicant has applied to 10, 15 roles, we
You
immediately
will
call.
roll him out.
Also,
Mm.
immediately. Yani,
Yeah.
it doesn't even take a genius to ask why. Yani,
Yeah.
you've applied to 10 roles. خلاص, this is one of the 10 roles that you've applied to. You're not equipped.
Yeah.
This would be my advice. The market is changing. The world has become more flexible. The companies have finally believed in flexibility, and that the employee does
Great.
not need to be right next to a manager to prove that they're a superstar. I think they should seize this opportunity and should invest in working on their overall profile. That's it.
Great. I think, yeah, that's true. And that's part of being active on LinkedIn. We're on a platform of 750 million. I think less than 2% or something like that. I know that post regularly, that check their profile regularly. So there is opportunity for people to show their skills and their knowledge. And I think you are in the field. You are more likely to pick someone if he's active or if he's sharing his knowledge, I think, or you can see that his profile, everything is clear in his profile. What's his vision, where he wants to go, all that. I think that's really very important for all candidates and for all people to work on that. And I really I resonate with you, and I think it's part of being, I think, desperate. If people are it's the mindset is very important. People must have positive mindset. I know sometimes it's hard, sometimes people are supporting families. That's why I think they, out of
Of course.
depression, out of whatever, that they just apply, and as I said, it's like a lottery, or just pushing, pushing, pushing. They're not working on pull, they're not working on their profile, so that someone will pick them, but they just try through pushing. Or maybe sometimes you get, I think, of course, you get people like messages like, people hire me, or send your CV without knowing them. So create like I think relation
Can
with
I
with
tell you
people.
something, Ahmad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I get messages, people
Hmm.
greeting me with a different name.
Oh my
يعني
God.
يعني هاي يارا, هاي نسمة, هاي نسرين. طب bro, I'm Yasmin. You sent me a message on LinkedIn for a reason. But this is it just sometimes I'm like, طب يعني how do you expect me to wait to serve you if you don't
No,
rewrite
my
the
name. Yeah.
بالضبط. I do understand how
Yes.
frustrating it is when you're looking for a job. I was some overnight laid off from my previous job, and like at some point, and then my contract ended. They were not able to renew it, so I had to stay at home for some time. And I was
Yeah.
looking for a job, and I was so frustrated. But I had a list of the companies I wanted to work for, and I
Yeah.
stuck to this list. So if I can just give one quick hint, guys,
Please.
recommendations on the LinkedIn profile is very important. Ask
Yeah.
your your colleagues and your ex-managers to write your recommendations, because as recruiters, we check them out, by the way, because it says so much
Check
about the
as an
personality and the
HR professional,
character. Of course,
you check this
of
kind
course,
of
it says
recommendations.
what kind of a
Yeah.
team worker are you, a team player are you? If you're cooperative, how do your colleagues see you? How do your ex-manager sees you? But I think it's quite important to have them added to your profile. It adds value to your profile.
Great. Yeah, as part of completing the profile, as I said, it's not only about the number of followers or connections, it's about the quality of the people that you have, and as you said, the recommendations and all that. And as our friend here, awesome Christian, is saying, identifying the right talent requires a test on soft skills and hard skills. Tasks must be measurable. Great comment, I think. Yes.
Yes, agreed, of course. Yeah.
Great, great. That's so good, Yasmin. Of course, we can go for hours. It's really a great pleasure to connect with you and to learn from you actually about HR and about recruitment and about the scene in 2021. I'm so happy to connect with you today, and you really added a lot, gave a lot of values to all the people who are watching us and to me. And
Thank
it's
you.
a pleasure to have you always.
The pleasure is mine. I had so much fun, and thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. We expect this to be really the first episode, and really we will be happy. I'll be happy to join with you once you start. I hope you start your live soon.
Soon.
I'll push you to do that so that you start something like that, because you are really talented, and really people would like to see more of you and learn from you and from your knowledge.
Thank you, Ahmed, so much. Means a lot. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all people who joined us, and thank you so much. Have a good day, have a good night, everybody all over the world. Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.